Hello and welcome to UniVerse Touch. So, here, week after week, I come live to allow all of us to tap into a new narrative. And this narrative is a narrative that combines being wealthy and spiritual, caring for the world, and creating an extraordinary life. Because we live in a time that we can be all of it. So come with me into this episode today, which has been kept secret for you, but it's time to reveal the thing. So today I will go into the second part of real life stories, and I will talk to you about a very beautiful representation of the divine feminine. So if you were here not last week because we were not here but the week before, I share with you a story about the divine masculine and some understandings of how the divine masculine actually represents itself in this world. And while the divine masculine has also been very unexplored, the divine feminine has been very misunderstood. So, in the universe of Aelia Kos, we work precisely with feminine energetics. And I would like to set some things clear. Feminine energetics doesn't mean women. In fact, in our last experience that happened last week in Greece, we had the majority of the participants were men, but they had been called to allow themselves to open their softer, more intuitive, more creative part. So the feminine as an energy has little actually to do with women. All of us, we have masculine and feminine energies inside of us. And we might be working in one or another, no matter our sex or our orientation. The reason I'm bringing this subject to you and the reason we are embedding the deep understandings of the divine feminine that I will show you today into all the aspects of our business, our club, the way we run, the whole show, our events, the way we approach our clients, the way we are serving our clients, is not because the feminine is better than the masculine. It is just because in the times we're living right now, the feminine is very, very missed. So allow me to take you into a personal story that will give you a little bit of the sense of what does it actually mean to tap in the divine feminine. And after that, we will break down how this can be applied, how we're applying it in our business, and how you can get an inspiration to apply it in yours. As you're listening to my stories, which all of them are real life stories, it's not about listening to the actual step by step what happened type of story. It is more about allowing yourself to be remembered and to unlock wisdom that lies inside of you and might have been dormant. And through real stories, we're able to awaken that and ignite something fresh. Are you ready for an incredible story? So it was back in 2020. We have just finalized a very powerful event during the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, in Davos. And I am in a phase that I have created all of this space and time in my life. And things shifted very drastically. And the plans I had in mind didn't end up happening the way I had imagined. So I'm left with this time and all of these plans. And I remember saying, like, my plans are not happening the way I want. So take me wherever I'm supposed to be in service. And the universe literally took me to the most extraordinary and also most unique places on earth. It was during COVID, and the whole world seemed to be closed, scared, sick, suffering. And yet, in the background, it was one of the biggest and most important movements happening. It was happening in private properties, It was happening with selected individuals. It was happening one on one. But all of a sudden, everybody realized that for the ones who have been working in the spiritual path and they're working for the awakening of the world, of humanity, this was the time to begin building the new world, the new civilization, the new vibration that we want to see happening in this world. One of these incredible moves, because I was left in complete free flow, which is one of the divine feminine qualities, and I was being placed from one place to another without any gap, without any friction, without any planning in advance or scheduling either. And one of those moves was a very direct call from an incredible woman residing in Ibiza who wanted to transform her luxury villa into a more sustainable space. The ones of you that have luxury properties, you know that while they look majestic and very polished and very beautiful, many times they require immense amounts of maintenance to remain in that state. And often, if they haven't been designed according to the environment, they might be going against what actually is supportive for the environment. And that was the case of this beautiful villa. It was a gorgeous place in ancient Greek style, had an infinity pool overlooking the valley. It was a dream. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. And yet, some of the moves that had been done, it didn't make sense at all for the climate of Ibiza. So I was called there to create a redesign in a more sustainable and aligned way how this villa could be transformed into a space of purpose. And then I remember I'm staying in my room and we were having this very intuitive flow between three women that we were residing at this period of time in this villa. And one morning, I'm sitting outside in the terrace. If I remember well, I was sketching and brainstorming what can be done in the property. And the owner of the villa comes out having prepared a very beautiful breakfast, all fresh ingredients, delicious fruits, all like incredible quality of food. And her business partner at the time and collaborator came out with her guitar. She sat in front of me and without blinking, she created an entire song for me. This moment, I was in such awe, I was taken over this incredible experience. It was so profound, it was so unique, it was so authentic, it was so timely that it took me completely out of what I was thinking, what I was doing, and put me right back into my essence. And this is what the divine feminine is able to do. The interesting part is that it's not doing it on purpose, or it doesn't plan for that to happen. It just knows when the moment is right to infuse creativity, inspiration, and intuition into the situation so something really lands deeply. So I'm listening to the song, I'm feeling the sun on my skin, I'm smelling the beautiful breakfast, and I'm just realizing that while the masculine has been incredible in bringing results, to place orders and systems and making things happen, without the feminine, we actually lose the reason why even doing that. And if our soul is not there, if our spirit is not there, we want to drop out. We want to sell the company. We want to abandon the family. We want to stop the investment. We want to withdraw from our job. We lose the reason. When the feminine is able to bring the juice, to bring the inspiration, to bring all the life. It's the salt on the food. It's not the food, but it's the salt. And what is food without salt? It will sustain you, right? Like you can eat it, it will sustain you, you will be fed. But will you be nourished? Will you be delighted? Would you feel that this is so delicious and so yummy? Probably not. So this is what the masculine and the feminine is doing. So I love working with the divine feminine, and we are embedding it in all aspects of our business in the universe of Aelia Kos, because I see the business world and I see how efficient we are, how much we have learned our tools, how great we are in scaling and establishing large organizations that occupy a lot of people and bring incredible results. And yet we still have burnout, we still have people missing their purpose, we still have overstressed, underlived human beings. And it doesn't need to be like that anymore. So let's introduce again the divine feminine. I refer to it very briefly, but some of the deepest qualities of the divine feminine, it is intuition, creativity, flow, and alignment. All of them are non-logical. They require way more than the brain. And if you have listened to the baseline we've done the month before, it's 4 different aspects that allow you to connect to the entirety of you: mind, body, spirit, emotions. So when you have all of these aligned, then then and only then you can tap into intuition, you can tap into alignment, you can tap into flow, you can tap into creativity. Otherwise, it's impossible. And that's why when something comes from a pure feminine energy, it takes you by surprise, leaves you speechless, and changes the way you see the world. Because it's channeled, it's coming directly from your connection with the divine, it's coming directly from your channel, it's pure. It's not thought through, but it's pure. And when you have that, then you can think it through and strategize it and then expand it with the divine masculine. But the purity of the intention and the download, it's to come from this alignment. In order to make it more specific for you, I would love to bring you the ways that we are embedding it in our own business. And of course, every business is different and you will find your own ways. I don't believe that our way is the absolute way, but it's definitely a way that's working and it's creating a movement. So one of the parts of feminine energetics that I personally love the most is the emergence. So tapping into flow. That means there is no preset schedule. There is rather a sensing what needs to happen now and afterwards and afterwards and then. And interestingly enough, we have been programmed that without scheduling, nothing happens. And this is actually not true. Even if you don't schedule anything in your life from now on, trust me, your life will go on happening. This is literally a very severe programming that has been happening to us. So what we love in our universe experiences, like the one we were hosting last week in Greece, we love breaking that down. So there is no schedule. You are welcome to participate in everything that is emerging or not. Or you're even welcome to shape what is emerging, which is also the most powerful aspect of our emergent experience. That practically means that in any moment that the energetics of the group have changed, we can redefine what we are thinking about creating altogether. What that brings is the removal of obligation, guilt, or shame that I don't have time, that doesn't feel good, but I want to be there. How do I deal with that? Which is a constant battle in our Western world, and allows us to actually sense, be part of the group, and create altogether what is prominent to this particular group in this particular time. There's a very deep respect to the people in the space behind this non-programming. That we're so used to the overscheduling that it feels surreal going to an event that doesn't have a schedule. From my side, I always have to smile when, in about the 24 hours into the experience, and our experiences are short, practically 3 nights, but in the 24 hour, which is almost like the half of the experience, always somebody comes and tells me, how long have we been here? There's so many things that have happened. And then I remind them that this is one of the reasons we are allowing emergence to be the main characteristic. For us to remember that tapping into the feminine, not needing a structure, doesn't mean that we will sit around doing nothing. That's not the point. So emergence and flow, and depending on the state of your business, the state of your life, you might be able to embed them differently, right? This is the way we have been embedding them. But flow actually means to really allow yourself to sense where life is taking you, where your business is taking you, and continue riding the wave instead of trying to create always the stream. Another aspect of the divine feminine that I love is intuition. And intuition, while it is innate in all of us, it is also a muscle, meaning the more you allow yourself to listen to your intuition, the deeper are the messages, the more precise, and the less reminders you need to actually trust that what you've been given, it is part of your planning. So you include intuition in your planning. One example, I will give you an example just to be able to sense what does it actually mean to embed intuition in business. I was mentoring a very beautiful startup, incredible human beings, creating a global organization, and they were about to do a next strategic move. So they were about to open a new market. And while that was making absolute sense strategically, every time we were in the call with the representatives of the other part, I was getting a sense that something was off and that it will not happen. And I was explaining to them that I think you shouldn't place so much attention and energy towards this direction because it will not happen. Them being conscious that they will want to have more of the feminine energetics in their businesses, but without having the experience of what does it actually mean, they were rejecting it. So it was like, why? That makes absolute sense. That's our next move. It's on our pipeline. Why are you not seeing it? And I was in a divided position because I couldn't exactly explain to them what I was feeling was wrong. Something inside of me just knew that it will not happen. And indeed, months later, after many Zoom calls, a lot of hopes and dreams and planning and steps being taken, indeed, this market move didn't happen, and the place completely transitioned to somebody else. So it was a 180 degrees pivot that happened. And when that came into reality, we went back and talked, and I made them realize that this is what it means to embed intuition into your business. You could have saved hours of planning, resources, and the hopes of your team by allowing intuition to inform you. I know that for very traditional businesses, that sounds counterintuitive, yet intuition saves you time. And in the end, do you need to know, or do you just need to avoid the things that will make you lose time and resources? I personally don't need to know anymore. If something is a no, I just go directly where it's a yes, because I have seen so many times that if I don't listen, I'm losing time and resources. So why do it again? No point. I go straight into intuition. That takes practice. That takes you seeing examples like that you did the opposite and how it turned out before you can fully trust. But once you do, it just flows so much more effortlessly. And this is the quality of the feminine. It's effortless. While the masculine is bringing the work, it's bringing the consistency, it's bringing the tangible, the hands-on. The feminine is bringing the ethereal. It brings the flow, the effortless, the manifestation, the instantaneous. So they have very different qualities, and both of them are very needed. So I'm dreaming of seeing more businesses embedding the feminine in their practices. It will be a different world. Some other aspects that we are applying in our business that you might get some inspiration from. Trust. And when I mean trust, I mean very deep trust. That the people who are there are the one who's supposed to be there. The time that's happening is supposed to be happening. The place where it's happening is supposed to be happening. No questions, no doubt. When the decision is taken, there's full trust. And the full trust allows anything that there is to unfold even more than it could be. So we have two choices: to go with mistrust first and check all the points, or lead with trust. When you check all of the points, you're more safe, you're safer, that's for sure. But at the same time, you're blocking the potentiality of something better than you expect to happen, because you're safeguarding yourself energetically. When you go into with full trust, yes, you can be misled, but usually what happens is that the field opens so much more than you could ever imagine that sometimes really hard to believe. And this is feminine energetics. Trust, but the real trust that's coming from the inside. Not saying that you trust and then not trusting. You know what I mean? It's full on trust. And if something breaks, you will repair it. If something hurts, you'll be all right. But you trust. Another amazing aspect of feminine energetics. So as you see, as we're going deeper, feminine energetics, they are neither fluffy, romantic, or like butterfly-ish. They're equally deep and strong than the masculine energetics. They're just very different. The difficulty is different. It's more internal. It's not so external. It still requires mastery, still requires practice, still requires a decision, wanting to do it, taking the steps, bold moves. All of that goes in both aspects. It's just different quality that happens there. One more aspect that I really love embedding, especially when we do the personalized introductions in our club, is timing. And I don't mean placing things on a timeline. This is the masculine way of using time. I mean knowing when is the right time to say something, to not say something, to introduce somebody, to not introduce somebody, to open a door, to close a door. Because with only a few days apart, a few months apart, the people who are supposed to connect can be in completely different states. And if you match them in a different state, nothing will come through. The connection will be forgotten. It will be very difficult to warm it up again. And it would actually be just a waste of time from both sides. So I love checking both with the practical aspects of the person. Where are you in your business? What are you calling in right now? What is your capacity? But also with intuition from the words the person is using, from how ready I sense them, from how I know them to be. Is that the moment that they're open and will be able to take the full advantage of the personalized introduction that we do? And I'm very excited because we're going to be magnifying this field very soon. We're structuring all of our back end to be able to do matchmaking even more precisely than we have been doing before. So stay tuned. And I feel that the timing will be a big aspect that we will be embedding into the way that we do that. And this is, again, feminine energetics, because you need to use your senses. You need to see behind the lines to be able to tap into the correct timing. That can be in a conversation, that can be in a presentation, that can be anywhere. Where do I go? Where do I stop? Where do I pause? Where do I cut? When do I start again? Timing. All of these aspects are embedded both in our private club, so the way we approach our clients is different. It's according to timing, it's according to intuition. The way we do our experiences, in-person experiences, is according to emergence, it's according to timing. The way we provide the personalized introductions, it's again intuition, timing, alignment. So all of them are embedded everywhere in our business. And that's why we're prototyping a completely new way of doing business. It's not just how our branding looks, it's more feminine. It's actually the qualities and the essence of how to make a business work with these qualities being embedded in all aspects, the sales, the marketing, the events, delivery, everything. So if you're curious to learn more, or if you'd like to embed that, apologies, in your business, it is a whole art, and it requires a complete shift of perspective. So usually when somebody wants to do that, instead of trying to figuring it out and going from a very masculine into a feminized masculine version, which is what usually happens, I invite them to go into an initiation into the feminine, to really experience it, to be able to apply it. Because once you have experienced it, it's so much easier. So if you have come to one of our experiences, you have already embodied it. You've seen it, you felt it, you've tasted it, you've seen how it works for you, you've seen what results it creates. So there's no doubt. It's like it's a full-on understanding. It's a complete understanding. If you have undergone a longer coaching container, mentorship container with me, which is between 9 and 12 months, then we go step by step and unlock all the possible aspects that might be blocking you from that, or you might be rejecting. Or if you do a private activation, which is in depth, personalized, specific to what you need and the theme you're working on, and it can be anywhere in the world. So there's different ways I'm working on allowing each one of you to tap into the energy that they need. And oftentimes we mix masculine and feminine energetics for you to be able to sense the difference. Your body feels different, your mind is different, you need a different setting. And the magic is to be able to combine the two. So structure, yes, but also love. Systems, absolutely, but also culture. Doing and being consistent with your word, 100%, but also being and knowing why you're doing. All of them together. And that is what we're prototyping in the universe. It's the union of aspects, spiritual and wealthy. creating an impact and an extraordinary life together. Because why not? Why not now? Why not you? It has been a pleasure to share this aspect with you. This theme is one of my favorites, and we might be expanding further later on. In the next episode, I will share with you another real life story with another theme. Yet, for this month, the promise is that you'll have to come live to know the theme. I will not tell you in advance. You will know after, and of course, you can watch the recording, but you will not know in advance, so that you are with me live, feeling all the excitement, the juices of what can it be the next thing. The next episode will be next week, same time, same place, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central European Time. Check your time zone if you're somewhere else, or subscribe and click the notify so you can get emails of when we are starting or we are announcing next episodes. Then it's easier to be able to be here when you want. If you have liked what you heard, please share, comment, text me. When I'm sharing these deep understandings with you openly, it is the best gift to be able to receive what came out, a thought that you had while you're listening, an insight that you had, something you applied in your business and it worked like miracles. All of that allows me to deepen and expand my wisdom to serve each one of you even better in the future. And we are also magnifying the narrative. So when more of us are actually applying the steps and they see them working and we're walking the path in that way, it becomes the norm. And what more beautiful than being in a world in a few years when we can be all of it. We care for the planet. We care for ourselves. We have thriving businesses. We are making money. We are growing our wealth. We are growing our children in the correct way. We are deeply connected. We feel full in purpose, in life, in wealth. What's more beautiful than that? We are starting here. That's what we are establishing in the universe of Aelia Kos. Come with us, come in with all your capacity, from the smallest, that is a comment or a share, to attending a masterclass, to buying a program, to being part of one of our experiences, until all the way up to become one of our lifelong members, one of our investors, one of our promoters. It doesn't matter the capacity. Tap into the narrative. Because the more of us we are here, the more that will become the norm. And I can only imagine a world like that because I keep experiencing it when we host the in-person experiences, and it is absolutely marvelous. Thank you for being here. It has been an honor and a pleasure, and I'll see you next week.